How is everybody doing? I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing great. I know I am. And apparently, some people don't like it. Interesting thing, a part of me. If it's your first time joining my channel, welcome. You have just entered Lucifer's Lounge because I am Lucifer, also known as Kang the Conqueror, also known as Thanos, also known as the High Evolutionary. uh, I don't know why that's funny, but it is. So, anyways, um, funny thing is, some people don't like the fact that I'll be smiley and have a happy go getter, happy go giddy, happy whatever, happy go lucky attitude. And the interesting thing is, I made a video talking about my hellhound tearing the shit out of somebody, and I got 3 dislikes. 3. Why? Like, I'm sorry, but I be watching videos about like other magicians talking about how like I'm sorry. This is not a diss. This is not like I'm not trying to fucking attack anybody. It's just I saw a video the other day. The guy was talking about like making the guy shit blood. There's other people that talk about like making people like crash their cars into fucking trees. I'm just talking about my hellhound, and I get 3 dislikes. Like, what the fuck? What? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, okay. So, anyways, nonetheless, keep making people shit blood, man. Go, salute to you. Not for real. I'm not even kidding. It's kind of funny. It's funny. But anyways, but sincerely salute to you. Do your thing. Do your thing. Baneful magic. Baneful magic. We talk about baneful magic. I like to use my powers for the betterment of humanity. I don't really like using my powers to be a dick. When I use my powers because I have to, or the situation brings me to a point where I need to, you know. So maybe some other magicians don't really do that. Maybe some other magicians do abuse of their power. I do not know. I am not aware of those things. But maybe you guys are, and maybe you guys have faced other magicians that do use their powers to abuse people, which is a funny thing because I guess there's more than one type of magic in the world. Because the type of magic I do, I can't hurt people. Like if let's say I'm mad at somebody and this person is a good person, right? And I'm mad at that person. I can't do shit to that person. So and it's weird to me because it's kind of like an unwritten rule in magic that you can't really hurt innocent people. Well, I mean, it's kind of shaky too, but I don't know, but it's weird, especially when you hear stories, so I don't know. I mean, magicians make pacts with different spirits. There's gods that will attack an innocent person, and there's a lot of gods that won't. But they're pretty obscure. It's not like it's like when we Lucifer, Asmodeus, Lilith, are not entities. I guess Jesus and the angels count in those things. Like those main guys that we hear about, like they can't. I mean, it's kind of bullshit for Christianity, but I know for demons and certain entities, not necessarily spirits, because some entities are stronger than spirits. but I guess certain entities, not spirits, because I guess you can get a spirit to do things. So when you're like when you deal with like the seven princes of hell or the seven deadly sins, as some people, as some anime aficionado would call them, if you're dealing with the seven deadly sins, they don't really hurt innocent people. Like if you can't like, they will attack a person if the person deserves to get attacked, and I feel like that's more baneful magic than what other people might consider baneful magic, because I don't even deal with, I don't have packs with like spirits that can hurt innocent people, and it's pretty obscure, and you have to really look for it, and or somebody else has to teach you how to invoke the person. So anyway, um I'm not self-learned, I'm not self-taught, but I kind of am, like my mother used to do voodoo, so I grew up in voodoo, so, and they did rituals on me, so that's why I'm awakened. That's why I have powers, because they did rituals on me and shit. So, not bad rituals, not like freaky deaky shit, but more or less, but like so I always had powers. I was always like I was blessed by the spirits at a young age. I'm very young, like 8 years old or something. So I always dabbled in magic. So magic wasn't like I don't remember there has never been a time in my life where magic was not involved. I am completely and utterly intertwined. I'm quantumly entangled with magic. I'm what you would call a zombie in the voodoo world, and that gives me a lot of access to a lot of knowledge, and knowledge that other people might not have. Even on voodoo, like I have access to I have like memories and intuitions that other people might not have, even if they practice like their whole fucking lives. I have like, to me it's like immediate. You know, sorry about that. So that doesn't make magic easy for me to practice, but it makes it easy for me. Yeah, well, yes, it does. It doesn't make it easy for me to get into, but it makes it easy for me to practice. So I don't need to put a lot of effort in like doing spells, like because I'm intertwined, and we're like it's all bunched up together, like I'm anyway, it's complicated to explain, um almost impossible to explain, and that's what happens when you do like when you do rituals on people. Like that's what happens when you do initiation rituals on people. You open up the door to their mystical selves. you know um some people do have a the thing is, the power of belief is a very strong thing. The reason why I'm saying that is because like a lot of people do things like, it's like people that pray to God, like they pray to God, but they don't really expect God to answer back, right? But ever so every other Sunday, you know, every other Tuesday, God does answer back, and that's what shocks people the most, I think, because they don't expect any of this shit to be. I mean, like they do it because it gives them a hope, and it gives them hope, and it like it's like something to hang on to. And it's something to do, and you can, it gives a sense of community for certain religion, well, especially Christianity. It gives you a sense of community, but you don't really expect something that, like, you don't really expect Jesus to come knocking at your door, right? And if he did, you wouldn't know what to do if he did, right? So when you're doing initiations, for a lot of people, like, they do initiations, they do their prayers, you go to church, the guy puts the cross on your head. He doesn't fucking know what he's fucking doing. He's just fucking doing the thing because somebody else told him to fucking do it. He doesn't expect you to actually fucking have superpowers right there and then, bro. Like, that's not reality, man. Like people need to live in reality a little bit. Like, like, y'all tripping. Like, you go to church, the guy doesn't, he's not expecting you. He's giving you the bread, and then he's doing is sanctifying you with the cross and the holy water and shit. He doesn't expect anything to happen. It's just a fucking job. It's just, and if that shit would happen, he wouldn't know what to do because he's not equipped for that sort of shit. He has some knowledge, from studying the shit and practicing it. He has some knowledge, but having a full blown manifestation of a god because he initiated the person to be, like, what I'm saying is, people create gods by accident. That's what I'm saying. It's true. I'm not kidding. That people create gods by accident. They think that they're doing it on purpose, and in some shape or form they are, because they know what they did. They know they're doing the ritual. They know they're doing the initiation, but they don't really expect it to work that well. Like, like, you don't expect, like, it's like you buy a sports car, right? You don't expect to win the Grand Prix with the same car that you bought at the fucking, right? Like, like, that would be a fucking miracle, right? Like, that would be out of the ordinary. That would be extraordinary, right? So people, when people buy a Lamborghini, right? They don't really think they can drive in a racetrack. But what if? So the question here is, what I'm trying to get at is, what if? What if you did go to the dealership, bought yourself a Lamborghini, and then went at the Grand Prix and won the Grand Prix with that car? It would blow your fucking mind. You know what I mean? Like, it would blow your fucking mind. You'd be like, what? Like, so that's what happens to children like me. That's what happens to children like me. People do things on us, but they don't really expect it to work. I mean, they're doing it because, they're used to the thing. They're used to doing it. Yeah, they did it to a whole bunch of people before you. They're probably doing it to other people after you, but you're just that guy. It end up, and you're confused too by all of it, because, well, like, you did it. It worked. So now what? Like, what do we do with this? Like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? So, it is what it is, and you have to figure it out at the end of the day, because get jealous people get jealous, and people are envious, and people are jealous, and so you end up having to figure it all out by yourself. Nobody can tell you what you are. You have to figure out what you are about yourself. It took me a lot of time to figure out that I'm a god. I didn't just wake up one day and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm a god. Like, no, I actually started out, this is my evolution. So I was a demon, but I didn't want to be a demon because I thought demons was bad. So I transformed into a good spirit, and then I think I became a prophet. I was at prophet level. I had done 3 miracles already because I was a saint. Because a saint needs to perform, to be a saint, you have to perform 3 miracles. So I was a saint because I had done 3 miracles. And then I guess I became an angel after because I was a sentinel. I was considered to be a sentinel. I was part of the vanguard of heaven's army. I was a part of the vanguard, so I was a sentinel, right? A sentinel is basically yeah, a guy that walks alone and just like, it's like a cop. It's like a cop in the medieval times. That's what a sentinel is. So that he does patrols around the town and shit. So I was a sentinel, and and then what? And then I became a demon. And then I had and then I became a demon. And I became a god, and then I became a demon, and then I became a god. Yeah, that was my evolution. That was my path. I don't know about everybody else. Everybody's different, but that was my path. And I've been through the whole born again Christian thing, and I felt the whole shit. The born again Christian thing. All the shit, the sainthood and the prophetism and the whole day, blah blah blah. You know, which I squared up for it to be a scam. Because it's just like you're being used. You're being used. You're a puppet. It's all just a bunch of pretty words to say that you're a puppet. Because you don't have a life. You can't have a life. You have to always do what he says, right? And you don't get to live your life. You don't get to have relationships with people, have friends. You don't get to do anything, So, and it's pretty fucking boring and gruesome too. It's pretty gruesome too because you don't see pretty stuff, and you don't get breaks, and you don't get vacations, and it's brutal. Like the true belief of God is fucking brutal. It is not a nice thing. So a lot of people like to talk about God, like to blah 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 blah, like they know the guy. They don't know God. I know God. I know God personally. I know I'm very close to God, bro. It's not you don't want that in your life. It's not something you want in your life, and for good reasons. Nobody wants to live like that. That's insane. So it's good to have, if you do believe in God, it's good to keep him at arm's length, which you already are doing anyway. So you don't need me. All I'm doing is confirming what you're doing. Because you can't look at me and be like, oh no, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you do. You do keep him at arm's length because you got a family, you got friends. You spend more times with your friends than you do with God. You spend more times with your girlfriend than you do with God. You spend more times with your family than you do with God. Right? I used to spend all my time with that guy, trying to understand the guy, trying to understand, because I came from a family that didn't explain things. They just did it. Right? It's like my first initiation. They didn't tell me what the fuck was going on. They just did it. They told me, "Oh, we're gonna protect you. This is gonna protect you." Boom. Okay. Right? Like, oh, just put this in your pocket. It's gonna protect you. Everything is gonna protect you. Like, they didn't explain shit to me, right? And it's the same thing with God. They did the same things. Just fucking do it. Like in my family was like, they beat God into me, right? So I didn't believe in God at first because they used to beat God into me. I had to learn the prayer and if I didn't know the prayer, then I would be sent to my room, or I had to stand in the corner and couldn't play video games. Like I would get punished if I didn't know my prayer, and I didn't learn the fucking prayer because I didn't fucking feel like it. Like I didn't understand. I was a kid. Like, what the fuck are you fucking doing? Like, you're punishing me for a thing that I don't understand. I don't even know what's going on right now. I'm just fucking confused, right? So, so I didn't like that. I didn't. It's not God that I didn't like. I didn't. I understood that I didn't understood God. So, so what happened was, I finished by, at some point after, at 13 years old, I finally remembered the father thing. What's the name of that prayer again? It's like the normal prayer and shit. Uh, shit. I don't even remember. My Father that is in heaven. Blah 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 blah. That prayer. Anyways, so like it took me like 4 years. So I got my ass handed to me for 4 years of my life because I couldn't remember the fucking thing. I just didn't. It wasn't in me. Like I told you before, I knew there was a darkness in me as a child. Like I already knew I was dark. Like I already knew there was a dark. I like to sit in the dark. I would watch like scary movies by myself. I would watch like cartoon, weird ass cartoon, X-Men, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. That was my shit. Like that's what really that captivated me. Right. That's the reason why I know how to draw, because I was interested in those things. And so I would go to church. I would fall asleep. I would fucking fall asleep. Like they would sit me in the front row. I would fall asleep every fucking time I went to church. I was just disinterested. But I don't know why I would fall asleep, because it was a bunch of garbage. That's why. That's why I fell asleep, because I knew internally. Because it is. I mean, like when you know. Like you can't lie to people. Like people that go to church want to be lied to. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I know that people that go to church want to be lied to. Like I told you the story about the guy the other day, you know what I mean? That he was asking for $500, $5 fucking $100, man. This guy was like, he was like a healer. He was a fucking healer and shit. He's like a Christ healer, so you put his hand on the people and they fucking start doing the baking. And I saw the whole thing. It was fucking crazy. They're fucking actors. That's the worst part. I saw the fucking actor walk out with his fucking money in his hand going home after the shit. I was like, so, you know what I mean? I was outside having a cigarette. And I'm like, so, man, like, like he looked at me like he knew that I knew, so he just fucking, just kept walking. Like he didn't even interact or anything. He just fucking kept walking on, like, whatever. Just keep smoking my cigarette. So people love to be lied to. People adore lies. People are big fans of lies. The Illuminati is a lie, and people adore the lie of the Illuminati. I mean, ixnay on the people that are currently fighting the good fight to try to make these guys stop trafficking women and trafficking children. So these guys, including me, so I give myself a pat on the back, and I give you guys a pat on the back too for doing a good job, for trying to do a good job here. Because some of these instances could be bullshit, though. I ain't gonna lie. The government goes to a great length to make you believe in it. They will go through to great length. They will climb mountains. As long as you keep believing in them, they will climb mountains for that shit to happen. I shit you not. They go through great lengths to do what they're doing today, bro. And some people know that. Everyday people know that. And they accept it, because they want to be lied to, because the truth is scarier than the lie. The lie is not scary. Look at this. This is a lie. All this is a lie. Look how beautiful this is. This is a lie. This is a fucking lie, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful lie. You know, look at this fucking video, right? Look, I'm communicating to you through a fucking video. You know, back then it was a telephone. Those were lies. All those things are lies. But they're beautiful lies. And they're less scary than the truth. They're less scary than the truth. So people accept these lies internally, subconsciously, and internally. Sometimes it's conscious. Sometimes people accept lies consciously. And sometimes people don't accept lies consciously, but subconsciously they know that it's bullshit. You know? And so people love lies. People adore lies. And that was in the Bible too. God said it too. God said that humans there's gonna be, I think it's in the apocalypse, I think it's the end times, in the end times they're gonna be like, people will be in love with lies. And that's what people are today. They're in love with lies. You know, it's like, I'm sorry to say, I mean, I used to sell drugs too when I was younger, but I knew that it was bullshit. I was just doing it for the money. I've always done it for the money. A lot of people don't like that about me, but I'm not gonna lie to myself and act like, this shit is me. It's not. I just want the money. I just want the paper. Like Biggie Small says, I just want the paper. Relax and take notes. You know what I mean? I just want the paper. So anyways, but that got me in a lot of trouble too. So, anyway, because a lot of these fucking people out here, they believe the lie. Like, they think that's them. They're really into it. So they're like, they have like this, they want, they don't want to just work for the money. They want to work for the lie. They want to perpetuate the lie. They want to invade people with their lies. Just like Christianity invades territories with lies. And Christianity, Catholicism, the Catholic Church, the Vatican, as some people would say, has invaded entire countries based off of this lie. And this is I'm not lying. It's what happened. You can't fucking tell me that's not what happened. That's what happened. This is why we have a country today. So this is why the Europeans are so fucking strong. It's thanks to the lie. I'm sorry, Europe. I love you guys, but it is what it is. It is what it is. You can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to me. You know what I mean? Like, talk to me as a nigga. If you're gonna approach me, talk to me as somebody that understand that this is a lie, because I'm not gonna believe you. Like, I already know the truth. Like, I read books. I read history. Like, I read books. I know my history. I read books. Like I like all the information is in your face. Like, if you don't read and you don't know your history, then you're gonna believe all this garbage. But if you read and you know your history, then you know what's going on. And most of the powerful people, that run this country, they know, the people that are feeding us the lie, they know that it's a lie. Like, they're not ignorance. They're not stupid. Like, they know that all this shit is bullshit. Like, so it is what it is. So talk to me the same way. I am a global superpower. I'm the biggest global I'm bigger than the Illuminati. I'm bigger than God. I'm bigger than the Illuminati and God. You know what I mean? So I'm a global superpower. But there's other superpowers that don't know what's going on. I do. So talk to me as a nigga that does. Don't approach me as a nigga that don't. You know what I mean? Because then you're gonna feel offended. You're gonna feel like I'm ignoring what you know. It's because I'm not ignoring you. You're talking like you're talking like you don't know shit. Like, don't talk to me like you don't know shit, bro. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you lying, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just be normal, nigga. Like, stop being weird and shit. Anyway, so because to me that's being weird. Like just be yourself. Like just be yourself, bro. Like stop it. Anyway, so what was I saying? So magic. You know, damn, I got off track, nigga. I ain't gonna but it has to do with life. So, anyways, people tend to do things and they get jealous, and then you have to figure who you are by yourself, and you're put into this world. So, yeah, okay. So that's what I didn't finish my Christianity story here. So basically, like I had to learn. So basically, that's where I started reading the Bible. I had to learn what the fuck was in there. So I read the Bible. I read all those 3,000 pages at least 3 times. I read it backwards, forward, upside down, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I fucking read the shit. I don't want to think about it today. And I completely, to me, it's like a trauma. It's trauma to me. Like, it's traumatic. So I erase that shit from my brain. Like, it's there somewhere. There's glimpses of it sometimes when you hear me talk, but I really don't like thinking about it because it's traumatic, and so I had to learn who is this Jesus man, what is this Bible thing, and who is this Jesus guy, and I discovered a lot of things that didn't make sense. Like, to be honest, there's a lot of teachings in the Bible. There's a lot of unwritten rules in the Bible, ways, codes of conducts and stuff like that, apart from, the 10 Commandments, things, powerful messages that will seemingly give you magical powers, almost. And it does, because at the end of the day, the Bible is just a grimoire. It's a heretic grimoire. It's a profane grimoire. So you do have you can't, but it's a weird type of magic. It's a bizarre type of magic. It's unusual. It's an unusual type of magic. And that's why it's a curse though, because it is magic, but it's magic for the meager, right? It's magic for the it's everyday magic for the everyday man. That's what the Bible is. It's everyday magic for the everyday simple man, like, and that's only when you actually do understand it, because a lot of people don't understand it. All right. So when you do understand it, you understand, well, later on, well, if you're lucky, you'll understand that it's actually simple magic for the simple everyday man, right? So, i.e. karma, it's karma based magic, it's very simple, very rudimentary, very rudimentary. It's very rudimentary. So anyways, the point is, like, you can move mountains and stuff like that. It's yeah, you can, but it's still karmic magic. It's still simple magic for the simple man, right? Because real magic is more intricate. It's more complex. It's more of a conundrum. It's more of a mechanism, So I understood that, and then I started speaking the good word. And as I started speaking the good word, I noticed that people that said that they believed in magic, that they said that they believed in God, saw me as a demon. But I was only saying the things that was in the Bible. I wasn't talking about magic. I wasn't talking about voodoo. I wasn't talking about any sort of magic. I wasn't talking about alchemy. None of that shit, which I was interested in, but especially alchemy, but I noticed that when I walked around town speaking the good word, people would see it as a negative thing. Needless to say, at some point I stopped because it was pointless. Um, but the moral of the story is, you can, when you really delve into these things and you start speaking the good word, because that's what it is, that's what the good word is when you understand it and you pass along what you understood, you're speaking the good word. So when you're doing that, um and even the Bible actually does warn you that when you do that, you will get frustrated by people's reactions, because Jesus understood, Thoth, Lucifer, understood that people understood people's true intentions, like the consequence of being human, right? Fear, jealousy, envy, greed, basically sin, right? People are sinful, and because of their sin, they tend to lie, they tend to deceive, they tend to be cupid, right? And they just disre dissociative, I guess. People tend to get dissociative towards reality because of their own reality, right? Their own reality does not permit them to adhere to the true teachings of Lucifer, i.e., Jesus, i.e., Thoth, and so on, i.e., Trismegistus, and so on and so on. So even as people can talk shit all they want and fucking act like they're with God and blah 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 blah, but they're not. No one is. It's just a rare few bunch of people that are actually with God. There's not a lot, and those people are not with God. They just think they are because they think they know who God is, but they're not, and that's going to take time for these people to realize, because some of these people are just now realizing what they are, because this I was awakened a long time ago. Like I told you before, I was awakened when I was 8 years old. I was already dabbling in magic, just like Jesus. He was already dabbling in magic when he was a kid. So, a lot of people in 2012, a lot of these people that are going through apotheosis right now, they woke up in 2012. Right? So if in 2012 you were 20 years old or some shit like that, like I was, and you just woke up then and you didn't have any sort of experience back then, before hitting 20, before hitting 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, then it's going to take you time before you realize what's really going on. You're just going through a process. All right. So you might look at me and look at these videos as being demonic and diabolical and blah 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 blah. It's not. It's a normal process. It's actually very, for a person like you, it's a normal process. For other people, it's not. And they're supposed to see you. They're gonna, even you might hate me. You can hate me all you want, but if you express if you express your love, if you no, because that's fanaticism. If you express, if you teach the teachings of Jesus, people are gonna look at you as a witch. People are gonna think you're a witch. People are gonna think you're a demon. But you're saying what the words that Jesus used. You're teaching what Jesus used to teach. So imagine people are doing that today, and you're just explaining what the Bible says. So think about, like, that's the reason why he got killed 3,000 years ago, because people are still the same. So these things are only for a specific select few people. It's not for everybody. I mean, it's made for everybody. It's explained in a sense in words that almost anybody can understand, but it's not. There's some people they don't have the capability, they don't have the opportunity or the capability to understand these things. It's not for them. I mean, it is, but your efforts will be in vain. You know, your efforts are going to be in vain. I guarantee you that. Your efforts will be in vain. And that's when I started to realize that something was off. I started to realize something was wrong here. Because I was already like, what the fuck kind of God would let this happen to a kid, right? I'm not saying I'm innocent, but what the fuck kind of God would let, like, what the fuck do you want me to understand from this shit? So the guy is sitting there saying he's loved, and then I'm getting my ass whooped because I can't do the fucking prayer, right? you know, like, but like I said, I stepped over my ego. Even as a kid, you have an ego, because I could have been like, because I knew I had there was a time and space where I realized I had two paths to walk. There was only two paths I could walk in. Either I hate him for the rest of my life, or I try to understand him, and maybe it's my parents that was wrong, which they were. obviously obviously my parents were wrong, but so are your parents wrong, and everybody else's parents wrong, and your friends, and your pastor, and the people that go to church, and everybody else. Everybody's wrong. You're the only one that's right. I know it sounds weird to say, and usually that's not how shit goes, but the world is upside down, and you need to realize it. The world is not right side up. So it just looks right side up, but it's not. So in actuality, in this case in particular, everybody else is wrong, and you're the only one that's right. So that's your start. That's your start off point. That's your beginning to apotheosis, when you realize that everybody is wrong and you're the only one that's right. Because a lot of people, they get lonely and they lose themselves because they want something in their lives. They want something that means something in their lives. They want something good. They might not be the most righteous person in the world. They might not be the least sinful person in the world, but they know that they at least will do an effort to show up to the place where they need to show up in order to have that energy in their lives. So you end up knowing things, you end up feeling things, and you see this place where people go that are supposedly like you, and you lower yourself to their level because it instills doubt in you. When you congregate in places like those, you lose yourself, you lose your power, because those places are not meant for people like you. That's not where you're supposed to go. You won't find anything in those places. The only thing you're gonna find is more confusion. You're gonna find more loneliness, more confusion, more anger, more rage, more damnation. And it's sad because a lot of people get lost like that. Because, like, that's what society does, and that's what society tells you to do. That's the place, like, there's a little arrow, and it says, if you want a dose of spirituality, come here. Churches are like McDonald's. It's fast food spirituality. That's all it is. You go in, you take an order, and then they send you packing with your Happy Meal. And you only get a Happy Meal. You don't even get the full meal. You just get the Happy Meal. Sometimes you get a toy. I think I don't think so. You don't even you're paying, right? So it's fast food. You're paying. It's legit fast food. You're going at McDonald's. If you go to church, it's the same thing as going at McDonald's. There's no difference. Why do you think the McDonald's logo is an arch? The McDonald logo is an arch. You know what an arch is? Where do you see arches in churches? Bitch. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not funny. It's a little bit funny, but that's not funny. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. But so yeah, man. Churches and McDonald's are the same. It's the same thing. You're getting fast food spirituality when you go at a church. You're ordering you're ordering a Happy Meal, and then you get the fuck out. And it barely fools you. You're not full when you go to church. You don't shit. You could eat some more, no? Can't you eat some more, God, after you go to church? Are you satisfied when you go to church? That's it. Cause some people are full eating McDonald's. Some people are full. McDonald's is pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. But sometimes I eat McDonald's and I'm kind of hungry after, man. And I just ate like a Big Mac and shit, and I'm still hungry. No, I mean, I had chicken McNuggets, fries, the whole fucking thing. I'm still hungry. So, when you go to church, it's the same thing. You go over there and you get your fast food, you get your food, you eat it, and in less than an hour you're out. The time you get the order, the guy makes you step up in front of the counter, and then you say, "I would like an order of blessings, please." And then he gives you the blessing, and then you go sit back down to eat. It's the same fucking thing. There's no difference. So, and mind you, I'm still not saying God is a good person. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to be real. I'm just trying to be truthful with you. You know what I mean? Because I got 3 thumbs down just talking about a hellhound. So I don't know. I'm gonna be real careful about. I'm gonna be real careful about what I say because I got 3 thumbs down 3 dislikes on just talking about a hellhound. So whatever. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel bad for using the word bitch now. There might be some interesting ladies watching this video. Sorry. So, anyways, no pun intended. No offense meant. Um. Sorry. Give me a second. Woo! I'm gonna get killed after this. Nigga, if you don't see me tomorrow, that's the reason why. Hey, okay, so we're back. So so I had to go through a whole process, but I started to notice the scam too. That's the thing. I started noticing the scam because you spend your life as a saint or a prophet and shit like that, and like I'm gonna sound a bit cupid here myself, but it's only because I'm not gonna lie, I was not the most perfect human being in the world. There's a lot of people that can vouch for that. There is no fucking doubt about that at all. But I did a lot of good things in my life too. you know and that's the part that fucks with me, bro. Like, so like, cause I hate to say it, man, but I kind of feel like I should have had something for all those good acts. I'm not saying not, no, no, not all, but at least one. Like, anyway. So, anyways, man, cause man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'd be a goddamn fool. I'd be sinning if I told you that when I see a nigga save like a baby from a fucking car or some shit, like a drowning car and shit, I feel like fuck you. Nah, for real, bro. Cause the nigga get like the keys to the city and shit. Like he's on TV, like they're interviewing him and shit, and I'm be like, man, fuck that nigga. Sorry, that's my inner Dave Chappelle talking. I don't really mean that, but I kind of there's a part of me that kind of like, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's great that he did that. But there's my ego is kind of like, yeah, motherfucker, but like, yeah, but anyway, so anyways, man, that's not the reason why I noticed this was a scam, but it kind of is. It kind of is, cause. And now I'm talking about God, like God being a scam. Because it seems to me like life always seems to revolve, when it comes to him, life always seems to revolve around one thing, which is worship. And that's the only thing that matters. Like, shut the fuck up and pray. Right? Like, there's a very shut the fuck up and pray vibe to him. Like, I can't say that's what he says, but there's a legit vibe to that. There's a vibe of, it don't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how many people you awakened. It doesn't matter how much work you put in. It doesn't matter what you feel like doing. It always comes round to worship and more worship and more worship. Like, keep worshiping, and then you keep worshiping, and then keep worshiping. And I think I'm gonna throw him a flower. I'm not sure. I hate the motherfucker, but I'm gonna throw him a flower, and I'm gonna be like, maybe that was the point. right? Like maybe that was the point. Maybe you're not supposed to worship God at all. Like he's just doing that just to see how much shit that you're going to take until you decide to be like, fuck you, I'm out of here. I don't know. I don't think so because he's a sick bastard. But, anyways, because I don't know everything. I mean, like, I know everything. That's bullshit. That's a lie. I know everything. But what if I'm wrong? Right? What if he's not making human baby farms and we're not just batteries for his giant penis? What if I'm wrong about that? Which I don't think I am. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what's going on. I know that that's what's going on. But in anyways, it would make sense that Lucifer would be able to do that kind of magic on us without God's consent. That would make no sense. So even if it's Lucifer that's making batteries, human batteries out of us, why doesn't he stop it? That doesn't make any sense. Who's supposed to worship you? Who's supposed to love you if he's just making clones of people? It doesn't add up. The devil doesn't exist. No offense. Your devil doesn't exist. But there's a slight possibility that I could be wrong. A slight one, a little one. And in that slight possibility, in that realm of possibility, I could say that it's on purpose. And you're supposed to stop believing in him. And you were never supposed to believe in him in the first place. It was all a fucking joke. Somebody wanted to see how much shit you can take until you wake the fuck up. Not you as an individual, but you as a nation. Or not. Who knows? So that's when I started realizing it was a scam and I started to not believe in that sort of thing anymore. So, anyways, I'm gonna let that marinate. Should I say more? Nah, I'll just make another video. I'm tired. Have a good one. Peace out.